Hello, my story element kiddos. You are here because you have identified in the beginning of class that story element identification and analysis is the reading skill that you're struggling with the most in terms of our Unit 1 reading skills. So what we're going to do in this video is I'm going to model for you how you would not only identify but analyze the story elements within a text. For my purposes of modeling, I'm just using a quick 2-minute video that's kind of a short story. And I'm going to walk you through how my mind would work as I'm encountering the text. But first things first is you always want to be sure of what you're looking for. So if I click back over to the practice test, the story elements section, there's 2 steps. First, I need to identify the story elements within the sniper. That's going to be the text that you're using. Considering setting, characterization, and plot points by filling out the bottom row of step 1's chart. And then I'm going to examine the relationship between at least 2 of these identified elements. How do they work together? How would the story be different if one of them had changed? Which one has the greatest effect on the story overall? And fill out the bottom row below the questions and make sure that you write the points you identified for the 2 story elements. Okay, so to summarize what I need to do, I need to be able to identify the setting, characterization using the Steele method, right? The speech, thoughts, effects on others, actions, and looks. And then my plot points are the major things that are happening. Setting again, sorry, I skipped it. Setting is when and where something takes place. Okay. Then once I identify all 3 of those, I'm going to choose 2 to examine their relationship together. I'm going to write them down and then I'm going to answer the question, how do they work together? How would the story be different if one of them had changed? And which one had the greatest effect on the story overall? Which, if it would have changed, the story would have changed completely. All right, so let's start watching the video. And as I'm watching, I am going to talk aloud through it with you, just so you know what would be my thoughts if this were my first time engaging with this text. It's not, but that's okay because we love to do close reading where you always go back and have another read through. So let's go ahead and watch the video. Okay, so setting, I already see it's 6 o'clock in the morning. I know it's morning based on my inference skills. Okay, it looks more like a rural area. We have a loose dog. And we have, it looks like dirt roads. Okay, so characterization, I see this is a man. Okay, he looks kind of like a young adult to me. Okay, plot points is that he picked up his newspapers. He seems to be a hard worker in terms of characterization. I can support that with what he's wearing on his feet, as well as he's not upset that he's up at 6 a.m. All right, so it looks like we have a new character. Looks like we have a new character who appears to have some, yep, there's a cane, so it looks like he's disabled. He has exceptionalities, so some things that he needs to do a little bit differently. Okay, a little weaker than the other man we saw. Okay, so the character seems positive. He keeps ringing his bicycle bell. Plot points is, okay, he's sitting down and reading to his last delivery. We saw that was his last newspaper. So that's a huge plot point, I think. He's engaging with him, right? He's helping him. The setting, again, doesn't look like a very rich neighborhood. The world is full of nice people. If you can't find one, be one. Nice message. All right, I'm going to pause that just so we can click back over. Now remember, we need to first identify these 3 story elements. So setting. So I would say a rural community. Okay. I can even say that it's India because on the newspaper, I could identify that the newspaper said that it was from India. So, okay, so it's India. I would even say impoverished community. And I could support that with the fact that there were the dirt roads, right? that inside of their homes there didn't seem to be like a lot of extra like miscellaneous stuff that we don't really need, right? But that we kind of like acquire and get as we go. So the setting was also, we know it was 6 a.m. So that's early, right? And then I'm going to continue on to characterization. Okay. So there was no speech. If we notice, there was no speech, nor private thoughts. So we know that there was a working man on the bicycle, right? We know that there was a blind man, and we know that there was a running man. So it's focusing a lot on men. Okay, I'm kind of feeling that a little bit in terms of this video, focusing a lot on men. That's okay though. All right. What other characterization? So the effect on others, positive effect on others from all of them, but especially the delivery man. All right. So now I have speech, nope. Thoughts, nope. Excuse me. Effect on others, yes, and that was positive. Actions, reading to a blind man, ringing bell on bike, working early, okay, and 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 what else? Okay, so working early, and then we have that effects on others, actions, and L looks. Okay, so we already got with that with the man, right? Okay. All right, perfect. See, even English teachers forget sometimes. And plot points. So we have waking up at 6 a.m. to begin bike route. All right. So after that, we have waking up at 6 a.m. to begin the bike route, and then we want to have at least 3, like beginning, middle, and end. So making runner's life easier by giving him the paper on his route, and then reading to the blind man. Okay, so those are our plot points. So step 2, story elements. I'm going to pick 2. I always go with setting as one of them. So I'm going to go with setting because I always feel like setting is the easiest to say if it changed, how would the story change? And then the next one I'm going to do is characterization. Okay, how do they work together? The setting being impoverished, but the character remaining positive speaks volumes to the idea that, hold on, I gotta move this out of your way, that it's not about where you come from, but more who you are, right? The bicycle, and I'm calling him the bicycle boy because that was the title. The bicycle boy still continued to get up early to work, help others, and ultimately make the day of the blind man by reading to him to make him feel valued and like a part of the community. Notice my answers are a little longer, and I don't want you to shy away from longer answers. You need those in order to be successful in your responses. Okay, so what's our next goal? How would the story be different if one of them had changed? If the story had not taken place in such an impoverished, that means that they don't have a lot of wealth, right? Area, then the hardworking nature of the individual, as well as his positivity, sorry, it's so tiny on my screen, may have been overlooked. The reason behind this is it is amazing that he did not feel negative toward his line of work or shy away from helping others due to his own circumstances. Instead, he continued to help others and make their lives better altogether. Okay, and then my last question is, which one has the greatest effect on the story overall? The characterization definitely had the greatest impact on the story overall, as the viewers can relate to the bicycle boy, even if they are not from the same setting. The focus is on how he was continually positive and helped others, which in turn makes viewers want to do the same, even if their setting is different. So usually I say setting is the most important. Usually that's my response here, but I really think the characterization helped the most, right? Because even if we can't relate to the setting that he's from, we can still relate to the characterization of always wanting to be the best version of ourselves that we can. All right. So I hope this story elements modeling helped you, as you've identified that this is the one that you struggle with the most. If you want to check out the other modeling videos, that's fine. If not, go ahead and get started on your practice test, and let me know how it goes in your exit slip of your self-evaluation. Bye.